In Legends ZA, most Pokemon are confined to areas called wild zones, where they're able to be their best Pokemon selves while effectively in a cage. In total, there are 20 wild zones, with Pokemon getting stronger each zone. So, would it be possible to beat the game using only Pokemon from the very first wild zone? Some of whom, let's be honest here, aren't the greatest? But let's make it even more challenging, prohibiting the use of healing items in battle. With those rules, and without dramatically overleveling of course, could you still beat the game? Let's find out. The game does start with a skippable cutscene. Unfortunately, there's only a handful the entire game. I thought I'd be able to blow through the story since I've already done it, but that's a no. The vast majority of these interactions are not skippable. Anyway, my character is obviously a tourist because they're the only ones who have bags like this. And a thieving Pancham, I suppose, who I simply watch walk away with all of my worldly possessions? Man, I'm quite a pushover, aren't I? Tawny offers me a starter Pokemon that I can't say no to, even though none of them come from the first wild zone. So let's just go with Tepig, why not? This non-wild Pokemon makes short work of the little thief getting my bag back and the last skippable cutscene for a very long time. Anyway, the next day, I am roped into joining the ZA Royale, even though I still have no viable Pokemon. One gross looking jacket later, I can finally go to where the wild things are, aka Wild Zone number 1. Here, I catch a variety of different Pokemon, more than one of each species as a matter of fact. I get some Fletchlings, Weedles, Mareeps, several Scatterbugs, and Bunnelbees. I'm still 2 Pokemon short however, as they are better at hiding. They end up being Pidgey and Pichu. And with that, I have caught every Pokemon I'll be able to use through the rest of the video. I pick the best of the best, based on their stats and natures, and begin the battle climbing ranks. Since there are 7 total Pokemon in Wild Zone 1, I decide to permabox Pichu and use only these 6. I already have an electric type after all. This brings us to our first rank battle, Zack with a Z. His Slowpoke is actually pretty tough, taking several Thunder Shocks and tackles by Mareep before falling. Pidgey is paralyzed, and Thundershook no problem. Pikachu is a problem though, as 2 of my team are weak to electric. Bunnelby tries his best with Leer and Rock Smash to lower Pikachu's defense, and with Stab Tackle and the super effective Mudshot, he actually does win. I didn't expect that since he's not grounded just yet, but good job Bunny. And hello rank Y. We're moving up in the world, just very slowly. And if you want to move up in the world of Pokemon, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome Pokemon content like this. And consider becoming a YouTube or Patreon member for early access to videos. I'm then required to trade a Pikachu for Boys the Heracross. As much as I would love to use this bug, he basically carried my team last playthrough, it would be against the rules. I will still have a Mega Bug at some point though. Speaking of bugs, the Scatter one evolves, marking our very first evolution. I then have a battle with Detective Emma as our 2 Mareeps face off against each other. Mine wins, obviously, but my victory is somewhat lessened as Emma then shows off her Mega Ampharos. So basically, she took it easy on me. Lame, but I want one of those. After all, Mareep does now evolve. Same with Kakuna and Spupa too. My 2 fully evolved bugs are going to become less useful as everyone else evolves too, but for now, they are quite strong, and easily earn me the next challenger's ticket. This brings us to Yvonne with a Y. Now she has a few fairy types, like Spritzy, that poison type Beedrill makes short work of with a Focus Energy, Pin Missile, and Poison Stings. Swirlix suffers the same fate. But she also has a light screening Vivillon. That increased special defense allows her to stay alive very easily, knocking out the electric Flaffy. Hey, that's not cool. With 3 different stab moves, Pidgey is almost victorious, but not quite. Well, this is going worse than I thought. Thankfully, Fletchling quad resist bug moves, finishing the battle in a single hit. Jeez, I didn't think getting to X would be so challenging. Fletchling, quite deservedly, then evolves. And Naveen, also deservedly because I just don't like him, gets destroyed by my team. I didn't even get a rank up, so what was the point of that? During that night, while defeating actually important trainers, Pidgey also evolves, leaving Bunnelby as the sole unevolved team member. Zavi, with a V, is the next ranked challenge. I didn't realize who he was going to start with, so I quickly swap into Fletchinder, which was a mistake, because a Screech rollout almost ends his life. Well, alright then, he's out of here. Bunnelby finishes off the bug as my two birds team up to defeat Roselia. Kadabra proves too strong for my fire bird, but not Beedrill. This brings out his ace, Furfrou, and this Dogmon proves to be a major challenge, immediately knocking out my bunny and my electric sheep in short order. Vivian tries to do something, but is knocked out in 3 simple hits. Okay, all I have left are an almost dead Beedrill and a drowsy Pidgeotto. Beedrill almost wins, succumbing to Fire Fang. It's all up to you now, Pidge. In spite of being drowsy, Quick Attack is still faster than Thunderfang, defeating Zavi by the skin of my teeth. Not that I have any skin on my teeth, so that's kind of weird. Something something, segue, rank W. Yay! Lita, another unimportant MZ member, battles me next, and it goes about as well as you'd expect. Which is sad, because I actually like Staryu. Finally, Bunnelby then evolves into his still not great, he's only got 58 attack after all, but better form. Rintaro, without a W because that makes sense, has the 3 elemental monkeys. The grass one is infested and gusted by Vivian, no problem. The fire one is eventually bulldozed by Diggersby, but it takes quite some time because of his lack of attack. The water one is quite proficient at protecting and does way more to Flaffy than she does to it. Okay, it is paralyzed though, letting Beedrill take it out no problem. And that was a much easier ranked battle than against that random kid. But I'll take the V. We do have our first Rogue Mega, and I am forced to use Lucario, a non-Wild Zone 1 Pokemon, which I did not agree to. Since this is not optional, I will make an exception here, and another one during the Tawny battle, since they make me use this Absol. But that's it. No more exceptions. Probably. For Vinny, my lack of exceptions proves to be my downfall, as his Mega Drampa knocks out the remaining 4 members of my team without breaking a sweat. And this marks my very first loss. Here I thought I was doing amazingly well too. On the next attempt, I realized I can use the more powerful plus moves since Mega Evolution has been unlocked. A plus Bulldoze is barely too weak to one-shot Houndoom, but it falls soon enough in just a few more hits. Sharpedo is immediately X-Scissored, and Flaffy takes out his Bunnelby, bringing out Mega Drampa. Flaffy tries to paralyze it, but he saw that coming from a mile away. Flaffy charges up a super-powered Thundershock that was really quite pathetic. Okay, let's try something else. Beedrill takes massive damage from these attacks, but gets Drampa down below half health. She doesn't make it, but she did enough for Fletchinder to seize victory. It also helps that Drampa runs out of Mega PP and reverts to its normal form. So, our rank jumps from V all the way to F. Nice. Tawny somehow wins as well, first try, it seems, which is not fair. She can't be stronger than me. I'm the protagonist here. Vinny takes us inside Quasartico Inc. to explain what he's been doing about Rogue Megas, but I don't really care. All I want from this corporation is to buy a Pidgeotite, our first usable Megastone. Not just yet, but soon enough. Oh, and these small candies are a great way to level up. Getting Mega Shards is really quite simple, after all. First, both Flaffy and Fletchinder fully evolve. Pidgeotto is not quite there yet, so let's battle a Mega Slowbro for some experience first. Ampharos uses Charge and Thunder Punch. I forgot to teach her Thunderbolt on this Watermon, so it's not great. Beedrill does some damage with bug moves too, but Ampharos is the finisher here. A few small candies later, Pidgeotto also fully evolves. So naturally, let's try out our first real Mega Evolution, Mega Pidgeot, who looks incredible in my opinion, and has solid special attack. Between Gust, Air Slash, and Wing Attack, Pidgeot is destroying this bag of poison, but he himself gets poisoned. He does really well in the time he had, but simply can't make it all the way. Talonflame tries to pick up the slack, but ultimately I use Vivian to defeat it. The final Mega in this round is Camerupt, who is quite simple if you have any water. I do not, instead needing to rely on the non-Mega and 57 base attack Diggersby. It's really not going so well. Mega Pidgeot reappears and gets close to winning, but runs out, becoming a regular, aka lame, Pidgeot. Guess it's up to Fire Pidgeot to save the day. After an unnecessary quiz show, before I can battle Canary, I need to beat up her old man. Since he has ground types, I quickly swap to Vivian in an attempt to Giga Drain, but she flies right into Stealth Rocks, immediately dying. Well, that was not great. The rest of the battle goes okay, but Mega Excadrill with his Steel type proves far too powerful. Even though half of my team survives to see this Mega, they don't live much longer. So that's the end of that, marking another loss. Okay, let's try that again. I start off doing slightly better, as Vivillon actually does something to Hippowdon before falling. Mega Pidgeot defeats him, and Diggersby quite easily. Mega Excadrill is still another matter. Talonflame does a decent chunk of damage, and even Diggersby hits a big dig before also getting dug, and then X-Scissord. In the end, it all comes down to Ampharos, but he's lost his Mega, and a single Power Gem is enough to take out Excadrill. Is it just me, or are these battles getting more difficult all of a sudden? It's almost as if battling against Mega Pokemon makes things harder in some way. I can't quite put my finger on it. Now Canary, I'm convinced I won't lose to. After all, I have a ground type on my team, and Electros no longer levitates.
What?
I mean, technically yes she does, but she doesn't get to avoid ground moves any longer. It still wasn't enough, I lose again. This is getting ridiculous, guys. I can't be losing every battle on the first try. I need some improvements. First, let's do some level ups with my candies. This time round, Pidgeot leads the charge because I know he's not going to do much anyway. Sorry bird, it's just how it is. With Charge, plus Thunderbolt Ampharos defeats Heliolisk quite easily. Stunfish is damaged by Giga Draining Vivillon and defeated by a fellow ground typer. I want to save Diggersby for her Mega, so Beedrill and Talonflame take out her Amphi, though they fall at the same time. My Ampharos first stalls for time on Electros, as a plus dig and bulldoze Diggersby barely makes it out alive. That was really close. I almost had my second loss to a single trainer, but I didn't, getting an E rank while all Canary got was a potty mouth. Don't be like her, kids, that's very inappropriate. As is using a Mega Beedrill against me. Hey, I want that stone. With Mega Pidgeot, that terrifying bug is quickly defeated as my bug earns the ability to go Mega. Let's give it a go on the next Rogue Mega, Bayonet. With Swords Dance and Brutal Swing, it's not so bad. Though I do wish Beedrill's two types, Bug and Poison, were not resisted by this ghost. She does a good job, but I do have to resort to Pidgeot to finish it off. Mega Howlucha is then not much of an issue with my two birds. While looking for a certain ghost lady, I have another battle with Canary. This feels like deja vu, since we had this battle like one paragraph ago. But now, things have changed. Mega Beedrill, with her awesome moves, takes out most of Canary's team, no problem. She didn't quite make it to Electros, thanks to this darn Stunfish, but it's fine. On my second to last Pokemon, Talonflame barely survives to defeat her Mega Mon. That was still quite a bit simpler than last time. With more threats of physical violence, Canary sings, well, like a canary, telling us precisely, using very vague language, about where Gwen could possibly be. Maybe. Wait a minute. This information seems very suspect. In spite of her best efforts, I find Gwen hiding out in the stinky sewers. All she wants to do is get away from her brother, but I will not allow it. This battle's not that tough, honestly. Even her Mega Chandelure is promptly defeated by Diggersby's new move, Earthquake. And he has Swords Dance too, by the way, same with Talonflame. That move is far too good to not use. This brings us to our actually ranked battle against Ivor and his fighters. Naturally, I start with one of my flyers, Talonflame, who is immediately rock blasted by Heracross. Well, that sucks, but I can't be mad at that bug, not even someone else's. So it's time for my other flyer to shine. Mega Pidgeot defeats Metacham after a ridiculously strong Ice Punch, and Machamp does nothing, which is precisely what Pidgeot does to Mega Phalanx. Okay? Ampharos and Diggersby likewise die, leaving only my two bugs alive. Take that back, only one bug is left alive. If Vivillon is hit by Rock Slide at all, he's a goner. So, it's time to unveil a brand new, incredible strategy that I call run away from this Megamon until he's no longer Mega. It may not be the most honorable thing to do, but I have no other options. He's also poisoned, so by the time the Mega form wears off, Vivillon can Air Slash a single time for the win. This gets me up to D rank. Now the next major battle is against Mr. Philippe, aka Spiky Mutton Chops Man. Talonflame, with his fire moves, does a decent job here, but in the end, the Mega Skarmory is defeated by Ampharos instead. allowing me to enter the weirdest room in all of Lumio City. Tawny took out money from a loan shark, which is now somehow my responsibility. But for now, I need to battle Gwen again, but this time, Mega Beedrill rocks it, defeating her entire team. Now that's what I'm talking about, Beedrill. This brings us to another rogue Mega, Ampharos. I've been waiting for this one. Diggersby almost does it on his own, but towards the end I need to rely on my Mega Bug to finish it off, getting me the Ampharosite, just in time for a Mega Barbaracle. Things are going okay, but I get a bit too close to this guy and he knocks me out. On the next attempt, a Charge Thunder by Mega Ampharos is doing great until I again get too close. This time I do avoid death, but I lead it right to Amphi. That was most unfortunate. Time to switch to old reliable Mega Beedrill. This bug rarely lets me down, as long as it isn't hit, like at all. Her defense is basically non-existent. The next rogue Mega is Mawile. Again, I start with Diggersby, who simply can't go the distance. Ampharos finishes it off, no problem. Since they always come in threes, not sure why, that victory means I get another ranked battle. This time against Corbo, the leader of Rust Syndicate. His Arbok is knocked right out by Beedrill, but I need to swap to Ampharos to Thunderbolt Gyarados. Talonflame flames Roserade no problem, while Scolipede protects the move to Gunkshot. Beedrill's Drill Run leaves quite a bit to be desired, but at least she hit. Diggersby similarly doesn't do great, and with only 2 Pokemon left, it's time to use the age-old strategy of running away. As soon as its Mega Form wears off, along with its great special defense, a single Air Slash squashes that bug. Still, that was a pretty close battle. I almost had another loss. Instead, I get rank C. Only 2 more to go. One fist bump later, I meet up with all these rubes I've already defeated in an unimportant impromptu tournament. It's so unimportant in fact, that Tawny and I straight up leave. I've got better things to do with my life than rehash old battles. Instead, what I have to do is continue to beat up rogue Megas. I haven't had enough of these just yet, it seems. Mega Altaria tries to fly above it all, but Beedrill is having none of it, and she's doing great damage with Poison Jab. Not so much with the Sting though. Regardless, she makes short work of the now Fairy Dragon. That wasn't so tough. Mega Pidgeot almost takes out Venusaur on his lonesome, doing a ton of damage, but gets caught in a sludge wave of some sort. Alright, fine, it's up to Beedrill again, as always. Mega Frostlass is next, but it's also not a problem. Labane, however, with her Tyrantrum, is a huge issue. I don't have a great counter for it here, and that single T-Rex defeats 4 members of my team. I eventually do take it out, but the damage has been done, and there's no way I can defeat Mega Dragalge. Next go round, I make use of Vivion's Sleep Powder, making the T-Rex drowsy and increasing its move cooldowns. Talonflame has also learned Steel Wing, which, combined with Swords Dance, is quite strong. He also expertly avoids a Rock Slide with Flare Blitz and defeats Labane's scariest Pokemon. With the T-Rex down, it's still a tough battle, all coming down to Diggersby vs Mega Dragalge, but that dragon is paralyzed and badly hurt, so the Digger has a fairly simple job. Labane drags me back to the tournament, where I can rebattle all of those losers. Literally though, they've all already lost to me. Now Canary is defeated way easier than before. A Swords Dancing Mega Beedrill easily defeats her first 3 Pokemon, no problem. Electros would fall in 2 hits too, if she got the chance. No matter. A single Earthquake by my bunny, and Canary is defeated for the 3rd and final time. I am tired of battling her, and she hasn't changed a bit. Next up, we have Ivor the Fighter. I remember how quickly Talonflame fell to Rock Blast last time, so this go around, I still use Talonflame, but Wing Attack as fast as possible to avoid most of the damage. With that bug gone, Talonflame mops up most of his team with Simple plus Brave Birds, though the recoil damage is not great. Mega Phalanx barely survives that hit, but I simply use my second non-fire bird to pick it off with Wing Attack. Once again, that was easier than before. The Corbo battle is very similar to the previous one, though this time I don't need to run out the Mega Clock to win. So, not dramatically better, but a little bit. Before battling Jacynth, a newcomer is added to the field at the very last minute, skipping all of the qualifying matches. Pretty sure that's cheating, Zygarde. Either way, I defeat it easily enough, as we, some of the heroes of Lumio City, are lectured by Lysander, of all people. You don't have any leg to stand on there, my dude. Jacynth then assumes we're going to end this tournament with our battle, but I have more important things to do first. So, like a man with cold feet on his wedding day, I leave this woman standing up in front of a crowd all alone. I'll probably be back. First, I chat up Sizey, however you say her name, who is obsessed with leftovers. Now, don't get me wrong, as a Pokemon item, it's great. And as a way to decrease your grocery budget, they're great too. But I'm not going to make it my life's goal to proselytize about leftovers. That's a bit obsessed, though I'm certainly not opposed to using them in battle. The same with the Shell Bell too. I've been meaning to get these for a while, I just hadn't gotten around to it until now. With those new healing items for my Mega List Pokemon, now I'm ready to continue the ceremony and defeat Jacynth. Starting with the wrong Pokemon wasn't great though. Amphi Flash Cannons the Rock Fairy without too much trouble. Diggersby is burned, but Earthquakes and Bulldozes Mawile. Aurorus is Steel Winged by my Fire Pidge, and Gardevoir falls to Pidgeot. Vivillon tries to Sleep Powder Clefable, who saw that coming, so that didn't work out so well. It's fine though, Clefable is quite chivalrous, allowing Beedrill to Mega Evolve, Swords Dance, and Poison Jab doing nothing to stop her. Thanks for that, Clefable, and Jacynth too, because now I'm rank B. Only one more to go. Before I can climb any farther up the corporate ladder of Quasartico Inc., President Jet finally decides to tell me exactly what the heck is going on with these rogue megas. Too late, I'm already gone. Mega Tyranitar is one of the toughest rogues we've faced so far. Even with a brick-breaking X-Scissor Drill Run Mega Beedrill, well, that's a mouthful, in the end, it comes down to only my two birds. Good thing Talonflame still has Steel Wing. But that was tough. For the Mega Dragonite, things are quite a bit easier, in large part thanks to a Mega Ice-punching Ampharos. Only one Pokemon died that time, which is not the case for Mr. Philippe. His Steel Mons almost proved too powerful, as it all boils down to his no longer Mega Skarmory versus Beedrill. I don't know how, but against all odds, Beedrill wins, surviving that horrific battle. She does much more than just survive when it comes to the Mega Starmie though. She does incredible damage with X-Scissor and Pin Missile, almost winning in less than a minute, but she can't quite make it. You rest, little bug. You certainly deserved it. And now Amphi pops on out to steal all the glory at the last minute. Typical Amphi. Then, in order to get some information from Detective Emma, I need some forceful interrogation. She starts with her own Amphi, who is quickly earthquaked by Diggersby thanks to a Swords Dance. Mawile suffers the same fate, as does Lopunny with a Brick Break first. Even Lucario can't stand up to my bunny. Well, this is the most he's ever done in a single battle. I'm impressed. Of course, he meets his match against Mega Malamar. No matter, Mega Beedrill knocks it right out with X-Scissor, as expected. With her defeat, Emma spills the beans about Mabel the Scientist, alluding to some possible Team Flare connection, which Mabel outright confirms. Well, that was easier than expected. Anyway, she tells me where to find Team Flare Part 2, Team Flare's Revenge. It only has 2 members, however, the first being Grissel. Now, she isn't who I need to battle to get to A rank, but I do it anyway. Ampharos makes short work of Talonflame, not a surprise, and I allow Camerupt to very slowly meander on over, swapping into Pidgeot at the last minute to avoid an Earthquake. I also run away from Rock Slide. That works the first time, but not quite the second. Aerodactyl immediately knocks out Pidge, and is knocked out by a returned Ampharos. Expecting Metagross to be a huge pain, I sacrifice Vivillon to Sleep Powder. This would have allowed Talonflame to defeat it if he had more than a single fire move. I meant to give him back Flame Wheel, but I didn't, so that does not work out. With Earthquake and Brick Break, Diggersby does take it out, but that still leaves a Mega Pyroar, who promptly flamethrowers my derpy bunny. I don't know about you, but pitting a bug against a Fire Lion doesn't seem like the best move. But she's the only one left alive. She starts with Drill Run, getting enough Mega Power to evolve, avoiding Flamethrower at the same time. Nice. A simple Brick Break then finishes it off, beating Grissel quite unexpectedly, if we're being honest. A crap ton of exposition happens, but we don't play Pokemon games for the story, it's because of the fighting monsters. So let's get fighting, you monsters. Grisham is the real leader of Team Flare Numero Dos, and I have a less than unexpected strategy for him. I start with Beedrill to Swords Dance, and get this, Mega Evolve. Bet you didn't see that coming, did ya? What's even more surprising is how easily that Mega Bug blows through his first 4 Pokemon, even after Swords Dance wears off too. Unfortunately, Salamence proves far too strong with his single Aerial Ace and whatnot. I'm not expecting much, but Diggersby does have Ice Punch, freezing the Flying Dragon. Well, that's pretty cool. This brings out the no longer flying Charizard, who protects against Earthquake. That's not fair. Vivillon tries to Sleep Powder again, and fails, but does succeed in getting the Zard hit by recoil damage, which basically is the reason I won here, because he keeps Flare Blitzing. You know what? A win is a win. I'll take it either way, and the rank that comes with it. Following that clear, and not at all lucky win, the tower goes crazy, and we need to stop it right now. This is no time for caution. Though, we have plenty of time to waste with a pointless battle between me and Tawny, because that makes sense. Alright lady, let's do this once and for all. She is the final official trainer battle after all. Now, I'm hoping to unleash this bug like I've done in previous battles, but after defeating Meowstic, she is quite simply stone-edged by Avalugg. Well, that's not cool. Talonflame defeats it, while Vivillon almost beats a Goodra, which would have been a miracle. Pidgeot finishes that off, Diggersby, Manectric, and Meganium falls too. I try to waste Mega Feraligator's Mega Gauge, but it's not working so well. She knocks out my whole team, leaving it all up to Ampharos. A single Thunderbolt finally takes it out, proving once and for all that I am superior to Tawny in literally every single way. Not that it was ever in question. Even though I'm clearly better, she decides to take Floette into the tower anyway, giving us our first skippable cutscene in like 20 hours. That's rough. While she's off doing who knows what inside the tower, I waste some more precious time standing around a table-like rock. But I'm not the only one here. All of our previous opponents reappear, this time to fight by my side instead. Some of these mega battles are still decently tough, but I get through all of them without a single loss. So I'ma skip most of this stuff without comment. Like how weird it is that a random citizen is outside on such an apocalyptic night, or the inability of Tarragon's men to make a simple, easy-to-navigate ramp, and I won't even cover Corbo's Gandalf-like sacrifice. I'll also jump past another skippable cutscene. Now we're talking. Yeah, you and me both, Tower Ange. Now, these weird flower things aren't all that tough. I was hopeful Vivillon could poison them, and then I'd just hide behind this rock like a chicken, but it didn't work out. The first round, Mega Beedrill pollinates those flowers like no one's business. The second flower round, Amphi and I use a modification of my previous strategy, both hiding behind the rock, alternating between Charge, Thunder, and Thunderbolt. It works out pretty well. On the third round, however, Flower Ange learns how to counter it. In the end, all of my Pokemon are dead besides one. Again, I can't heal in battle, so it all comes down to Vivillon, who has been, shall we say, less than useful most of the run. But he manages to do it, beating the final flower, allowing me to throw a Megastone right off this building, just like I've always wanted. Good thing it worked out okay, right? We are forced to watch this final cutscene, as it's very slightly interactive. I do need to press R3 a single time, for example. Anyway, Zygarde's Big Laser is bigger and laserer than Angie's, saving the city and ending this run. If you're interested in a more story-focused run, check out my Legends ZA Ash video instead. In the end, while there certainly were some difficult battles, not having a water type was more of a detriment than I expected, the first Wild Zone Pokemon were more than enough to beat the game all on their own. It's nice that half my team was able to Mega Evolve, and even without it, Talonflame did incredibly well. But obviously, the real MVP here was Beedrill. Going into this, I was pretty bummed about losing adaptability. It's such a unique and awesome ability. But with her Mega's insanely high attack, coupled with Swords Dance, and a fairly versatile moveset, it was more than enough. Thank you, Beedrill. You basically carried the latter half of this run. If you have any other Legends ZA ideas you'd like me to try, let me know down below. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to my YouTube and Patreon members. I really appreciate your support. As always, I'll see you in the next region.